Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of VGU Talks, and let's talk games. Yesterday, the Overwatch beta sadly came to an end, and I just gotta say, I had such a good time playing that beta. And so today, I'm gonna be talking about my experiences in the beta, the good, the not so good, the things I just went mad over, and how, in that beta alone, it took 2 matches to sell the game to me and literally cash in my pre-order. It's a story I'm willing to tell, and let's get started. First things first, I have got to congratulate Blizzard. For a company that has not done a lot in the way of FPS games or anything along those lines, for their first ever jab at it as a hero shooter nonetheless, going against guys like Battleborn, going against FPSs like Destiny, going toe-to-toe against MOBA-like games like League of Legends and Dota, all at the same time, Battleborn instantly exceeds expectations. It blew my mind as to how good this game was. The game isn't just good because of the art style. It's not just good because of the graphics and how smoothly it runs, with little to no problems connecting to matches. However, I will be talking about that in a little bit. But the thing I probably love the most about Overwatch are the heroes themselves, the characters. Every single one of these characters is so brilliant. Whether it's their playstyle, whether it's their aesthetics, whether it's their personalities, they all stand out. And the only other game that's ever been able to do that to me with a massive array of characters is League of Legends. Overwatch just insta-wins me, because you could just be waiting for the match to begin and the characters are talking to one another because they've known each other for a long time. Specific characters will talk about specific things with specific characters to make it a lot more personable. And it's little touches like that, as well as the characters' personalities, the unlockable little voice traits they can have, and the sprays that they're able to put on walls in the game. It makes it such a complete experience. And this is one of the greatest online multiplayer experiences I've had the liberty of playing since I first started League of Legends back in the beta days. If you're interested as to which one of these heroes are my personal favourites, I will be making another video on that. I'm going to have to leave you with a cliffhanger, but don't worry, I will be talking about which heroes I loved the most and why in a separate video coming soon, so keep an eye out for that one. So with that initial greatness coming from the game, there are a couple of things I'm concerned about. One thing in particular I will be also covering in another video because it's a bit of a big deal. But the first little issue that I had, which I knew was bound to happen in beta, was connections. Now, first off, the connecting to matches thing, very good. And when it came to actual in-game lag, barely any. And if that, I think I only had one match that had in-game lag, and even then it was lag for like 5 seconds, and then it smoothed out. And that 5 seconds was when you were literally waiting for the match to begin. So it didn't even matter. It didn't matter whether lag was happening, because we were waiting for the match to begin anyway, so it's perfectly fine. There was a few cases where the connections were a bit choppy here or there. It took a little bit of a longer while to get into a match, but again, I'm not too bothered, because 1, beta, and 2, I'm generally not too bothered waiting in a queue to get in a game in these style of games anyway. I'm just used to it at this point with games like LoL, Dota, CS, you name it. And I don't have any other problems with any of the specific maps apart from one. I can't remember the name of the map to save my life. It was probably the Temple of Anubis. In fact, I think that's what it was. It's the map where if you're on the attacking side, you spawn in and there's one direct way to get to the first objective, which is through an archway. And if you can get halfway through that archway, there are doorways going left and right that can go to different areas, but that initial archway needs to be combated first. I think that is the weakest map out of all the maps that are available in Overwatch, simply because of that initial start of the level for the attackers. I think it's very much on the defender's side, and it's not as balanced as it could be, because most of the time whenever I've been on that map or whenever I've been spectating other people playing on that map, the defenders always seem to have the huge advantage with it, because they can go on top of the archway and snipe people down or shoot at them with Farah's rockets. They can set up lasers with Symmetra inside the archway, so all you need to do is just step into it and zappy the lasers will get you. You can even put 2 heavy hitters on either side of the archway inside the little rooms so that you can get people in there with Roadhog or initially snipe people out with Widowmaker. There's a lot of things they're playing on the defensive side, and I think that might need to be addressed. Now, is it a huge issue, however, for the attackers? No, because it's not impossible to tackle and not impossible to get through. I had an amazing match where I was playing as Reaper, and I used Reaper's teleport ability to get behind all the enemy units that were literally guarding this archway. I get behind everyone, activate my ultimate ability, so I start going around in circles going die, 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 shooting every single enemy around me. Not just did I end up killing every single enemy in that vicinity, by the way, with that one move alone, I also made it the perfect opening opportunity for all my teammates to charge in and get that objective. So it proves that although it is a flaw, the map is not terrible. It's still very good. You can still use plays. I think it's just a matter of, because it's beta, people are still learning the heroes, they're still getting to grips with all the mechanics. So people might have been a bit scared tackling the amount of defense that's on that archway alone. Give it some time though, and you'll see some amazing plays tackling, like what happened with me. Sadly, I didn't catch that on film, but it was such a good moment. The only other problem, and this is the problem that I'm going to be bringing up in a separate video, is with Bastion. Although I love Bastion's design and his character, and I also love his moveset, I do think he is a little bit overpowered for his own good. But I am going to leave that topic there because I am going to bring it up in a separate video in due time, so keep your eyes out for that one. Quite frankly guys, I'm just wanting to get this out there to share my initial impressions of the Overwatch beta after playing it profusely over the beta periods. It has been such a pleasure and I cannot wait for its full release. Now, you can bet your bottom dollar there's going to be plenty of Overwatch videos being made because I want to cover this from top to bottom. But I want to know now, what are your thoughts on Overwatch? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? What are your highs and lows during the beta? Let me know in the comments below and I'll see you guys next time for another edition of VGU Talks.